Hi everyone, yasas que kalos to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Today I cannot wait to share this delicious recipe that comes from the island of Cyprus. These are Tahinopitakia, they're little mini tahini pies. I've made the yeasted bread version of these, which are to die for, but it's a lot of work. These are very simple. They're made with basic ingredients like phyllo, tahini, a little bit of sugar, some walnuts. You can customize them however you like. You can make them vegan for Lent by swapping out the butter for either a light olive oil or a vegan butter alternative. Anyway, I've said enough. Let's get started. Okay, we're going to begin by making the cinnamon sugar. So in a bowl, go ahead and add half a cup of granulated sugar, a heaping teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and then you can add the zest of either an orange or a lemon. I'm using a lemon today, but either of them will work. Go ahead and get at least 3/4 of that zest into the bowl. If it's a smaller lemon, you could use all of the zest. This is a medium-sized lemon, and then just mix everything all together and set it aside. I'm also going to chop up some walnuts in my food processor. You can leave the walnuts out or you can substitute them for any nuts, almonds, pistachios, even pecans will work for this. I'll just pulse them a few times until the nuts are finely chopped and they look just like this, and that's it. I'll just set them aside and leave them in the little food processor container. We don't have to dirty anything else. And now we're going to start working on the syrup. So in a small saucepan, go ahead and add half a cup of water, half a cup of granulated sugar, and then the juice of either the orange or the lemon, whatever you zested. We made the cinnamon sugar first so that way we can get the zest off the lemon, because you can't juice a lemon and then zest it. Go ahead and bring this mixture to a boil, and once all of the sugar dissolves, you can just give it a mix and set it aside and let it cool completely. Now we can assemble the Tahinopitakia. So we'll just be using 6 sheets of phyllo. I'm using number 4 phyllo. It's the same phyllo used to make most desserts like baklava. It's the thinner phyllo. Make sure that you thaw it out in your refrigerator overnight and then leave it in its packaging on the counter for about an hour or two before you work with it, so that way it doesn't tear and so that the sheets don't get stuck together. So we're going to take 1 sheet at a time, and I'll drizzle it with a little bit of butter, and then you can brush the butter so that way it covers the whole sheet very gently. Then I'll take some of that cinnamon sugar, 1 to 2 teaspoons or 1 tablespoon of it, and just sprinkle it all over that first sheet. Take 1 more sheet of phyllo and do the same thing, and then put the 3rd sheet of phyllo on top and just add the butter. And at this point, we're going to add tahini to this. You can go heavier on the tahini if you like, and if you want to have more of that tahini flavor in it, or you can do a really thin layer of it. It's up to you, but you're going to need about 1/4 cup or more of tahini, and just go ahead and spread it out. Anytime you're using tahini, you're going to want to make sure you mix it really well, because the oil from the sesame seed paste separates and it usually rises to the top. So just either mix it up with a knife, or sometimes you can shake it all together and it'll just come together beautifully. I bought mine this time in the squeeze bottle and it's fine. Most of the time I buy it in little jars. As long as it's good quality, that's all you're looking for. Now we're going to sprinkle some of the chopped walnuts on top, and then more of that cinnamon sugar. And then we'll just roll the phyllo layers up into a log. I like to seal them with a little more butter right on the edge and a tiny bit more sugar, and then cut them into 8 equal pieces. I just cut the log in half first, and then 4 pieces on each side to make 8 pieces. These are going to go on a baking tray that's lined with parchment paper, and we're going to repeat the same process with another 3 sheets of phyllo to create these beautiful tahini little rolls. Then we're going to brush them with more melted butter, and I also like to sprinkle some of that cinnamon sugar on top. The oven is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. These are going to bake on the center rack until they're golden and crispy. That takes about 20 minutes depending on your oven. As soon as they come out of the oven while they're still hot, we're going to pour that cool syrup on top of them. Let them sit and absorb that syrup for about 10-15 minutes, and then you can transfer them onto your serving platter and they're ready to serve. And that's it. Our Tahinopitakia are ready. Just look at how golden and crisp they are. The layers of sweet tahini filling with a little bit of crunchiness from the walnuts. They're just so good. They smell so good. They're ready in like 20 minutes, so you really can't beat that. You can make more, and before you bake them, you can freeze them so that way you can have them on hand and just take them out of your freezer and make these when you need them. They're just a delicious dessert to have on hand. Let's do the taste test. These are traditionally not made very syrupy, but I love my syrupy desserts extra syrupy. So it's going to be up to you if you're going to want to double up on that syrup or not. Perfectly sweet, flaky, buttery. You get that nuttiness from the tahini. Again, a little crisp from the walnuts in there. You can substitute the walnuts for your favorite nuts. These are delicious and they're, I guess, kind of healthy because of the tahini. Tahini is made from sesame seeds, and sesame seeds are packed with nutrients, but it might be offset with all of that syrup. Maybe have 1 or 2 bites and we'll be done with them. These taste delicious with a hot cup of Greek coffee, so make sure you make some and call some friends over to share the goodness. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I'll see you all next time. Yes, Zest.